Behold, my brand new Honey Extractor. It's a stainless steel model. Finally got the lids. They were on back order. This is a 2-frame extractor. So our honey frames will go inside of here. And when we turn this crank, the frames will spin around. And when the honey frames are decapped, it'll expose the honey and it'll spray out and fly to the sides of the extractor. And then after it all settles, we open up this honey gate on the bottom, drain it into our container by filtering it, and fill it into a nice big 5-gallon honey bucket. And then we can pour it off and filter it even further to remove even more of the little tiny pieces of sediment. So this will be raw, unfiltered honey. Okay, so we're going to put some in here and we're going to try out this brand new honey extractor. We just got it. This is what capped honey looks like. You can see that it's all covered up in here, and the bees have collected all this honey, and it's capped because the bees have decided that there's the optimum amount of moisture now, and they cap the honey to use as stuff to feed on later in the year. Well, our bees have made a lot of excess honey, so we'll be able to remove this honey from the hive and harvest it, and there's still plenty more. So this little stringy thing here is just a piece of a brush that we had on here, so no problem there. This is just a small portion of tiny uncapped honey. You can see how it's open. Well, that's what we're going to do. We have a tool right here. We're going to uncap all of this honey and open it up. We're going to put it inside this extractor, and then we're going to spin it so we can remove the honey into our extractor. So that's the process. You just take this capping tool, slide it along here, and you start to uncap the honey, and you can see that that's what happens. So it only takes a few minutes. Hard to do with one hand. So I'm going to put this down and finish uncapping this frame. You can see now that we've uncapped this honey and it's all wide open. All these capped honey frames have been removed. So now we can put this inside our extractor and start to spin it and get this honey to fly out of it. We'll be doing 2 frames inside the extractor, and then we'll spin it, remove the honey, flip the sides, and spin it again and try and remove as much of the honey from these frames as we can. So we've placed 2 of the frames inside here, and you can see now once we spin this around, and we're going to go a lot faster than this, the honey's going to fly out of these frames and alongside of the extractor and then drip down to the bottom, and that's how you extract honey using an extractor. There are some that are electronic, motor driven. Other ones that, like this one, are turned by hand, and it's just a 2-framer. For our 1-hive operation, this is all we're going to use and all we're going to need. So I'm going to put this down and do a lot of spinning. So here you go. You can see down at the bottom of the extractor, we're already starting to accumulate some honey way down here on the bottom. So as it spins, like I said, it throws the honey out to the side of the extractor, and then it will run down the side of the extractor, and then we'll drain it. So this is how you remove the honey from the frames. You keep the frames intact so you can put it back inside the hive, and the bees can start to fill it again, either with more honey, or else they may have a queen clean it all out and start to lay eggs and lay some brood. So it all depends on what the bees are up to. And then we'll just continue to, after this is mainly cleaned out on this side, we'll flip the frames over so that the side to the inner side is to the outside, and then it'll throw all the frames of honey out to the sides and down the extractor. And that's how we take care of it. Cool, huh? This is after we've spun these 2 first couple of frames. You can see some of that honey down there settled on the bottom. You can see these frames are pretty well cleaned out of honey. So we're going to take them out, and then we'll just store them, and we'll put them all back in the hive as soon as we're done cleaning out all the rest of the frames from this extractor. So we got quite a bit more to go, maybe another 45 minutes. We got 6 total frames. We'll probably end up with maybe a gallon and a half, 2 gallons of honey out of that. Here is the frame after we've removed it from the extractor, and you can see we've removed all the honey, but we've kind of kept all those honeycombs intact, so the bees will just reform these honeycombs with their wax. There's a little bit of pollen in. Some of it came out, some of it didn't. That's what those little brown spots are. That's still a little bit of pollen in there. So the bees will reuse this, but we've removed most of the honey from the frames. Okay? This is some of the extra beeswax that comes off when we're uncapping the frames. So we've removed that, and it's in this double strainer, and it's, you can just see, so the honey's being cleaned there. We're going to put in an even smaller micron filter to filter this out even better. But for now, we're just doing some rough filtering. So we're going to get the honey to drip through this strainer and into our 5-gallon honey bucket. So that can take a while, like a couple hours, even all day, before it finally drains through there. We've removed the smaller frames from the honey super, and you can see how it's all capped here. Some of these are a little bit open, but what we're really looking for is fully capped frames, because that's when the honey is completely cured and it's ready to be filtered and bottled up right away. For the stuff that's not capped yet, there's probably a little too much moisture, so we'll have to use some dehydration in our oven, which we've done in the past, and that works really well because our oven has a dehydration setting, so we can dehydrate the honey at low temperatures of only like about 100 degrees, so we don't disrupt or destroy any of the nice nutrients that are in the raw honey. So this is a smaller honey frame from the Honey Super. This is with these smaller Honey Super frames, and you can see that they fit in, and you just want to make sure you place the Honey Super frames at opposite ends of the basket, so when it spins it's a bit more balanced. If you don't have them placed real well, it's kind of bounces around a little bit. So yeah, that worked out fine too. So we've taken some honey out of these honey frames, and we'll keep going and finish up. It's all going good. Here's the extractor with the honey gate opened, and what's nice about this is that because of the way the bottom shaped a little bit more of a funnel shape, you can tip the extractor and have a lot of the honey just simply pour out of here, because that was one of the challenges with some of the other flat bottomed ones, is that the honey would all sit on the bottom and it was a little tougher for it to come out. So this, by tipping it, it pours out pretty easily, and you can filter just a little bit easier. So that's kind of a nice feature. I like that feature. Just tip it back up and let the honey kind of settle. It's a little bit of a cooler day today versus the last time, so the honey's going to take a little longer because it's a little thicker to go through our double strainer, but we're getting there. We're going to end up with probably about 3 gallons or more of honey, so we're pretty happy with how this is working. Again, I have to say the VIVO BE002 is a pretty nice stainless steel model, and with the 2-frame extraction system, we've done about 8 or 9 frames of honey, and it's been pretty good. I would definitely encourage you to anchor it down though in the future. That'll make life a lot easier. Anchor down the unit, have it on maybe a big piece of plywood, or else anchor it right directly to a concrete floor, and that'll keep it from wobbling, and it'll make life a little easier when you are turning the frames in the extractor. But yeah, I would rate it 4 out of 5 stars. Good value for the $200 price tag we paid. The components seem sturdy. I'm looking forward to the cleaning part, only because with the plastic one I had before, that was a real pain. So I'm hoping the cleaning aspect of this stainless steel unit will be a lot better. So this is the VIVO model 002 Honey Extractor. It's got 2-frame basket capacity, and I would rate it 4 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty good unit. Retail value was about $200. It seems to be worth it. I definitely like it better than the plastic models.